Well, hello all. Another foggy, cool, windy day here in San Francisco. No drizzle yet, but let's go on up and do a video. This time it's going to be all about methane, because methane is so important to get our emissions down so that we can start dealing with climate change. This looks like as good a place as any. The U.S. Senate reinstated methane emissions regulations on oil and gas wells that Obama put on when he was in office. This was rolled back by Trump, of course. Unfortunately, the House still needs to pass a vote to reinstate the Obama-era regulation. If a rapid, full-scale effort to reduce methane emissions from oil and gas and big agriculture, it would slow the rate of warming by as much as 30%. You'd still be going up, but at least 30% slower. Methane is 80 times the warming of CO2. And of course, once methane starts to break down in about 100 years, it will turn into water vapor, which is a neutral greenhouse gas, and CO2, which is a greenhouse gas. Of course, there's another feedback loop with methane, isn't there? About 1/4 of all methane emissions come from natural causes or sources. Lakes that have higher water temperature emit more methane, especially in the tropics. So the warmer lakes get, the more methane they produce. Feedback loop. Between 58% to 400% more emissions will escape from these lakes, depending on what the temperatures do and how deep the temperatures get. At least 25% of today's climate warming is driven by methane emissions from humans. A new research group has found U.S. oil and gas industries emit 13 metric tons of methane a year. That is 60% more gas than the U.S. EPA estimated before the study. Isn't that amazing how an agency that's supposed to protect the environment ends up in the pockets of the big banks and corporations, and they fudge the numbers so severely? I mean, we could save a lot of money if we just got rid of the EPA altogether and came up with another real agency that could really protect our climate. But the US EPA isn't about to do that, because they know where the money comes from and who's paying. And suddenly, what looked horrible now looks just fine for industry. Methane emissions also come from farming, big agriculture, and cows, sheep, dairy, all that stuff causes extreme methane emissions. And that's why a lot of this has to do with what you eat, what you put in your mouth. Really has a lot to do with methane emissions. So we all try over and over, but a lot of people refuse to do the major steps that you need to do to try and tackle climate change, so the world will continue on the path it's on. I wonder just how hot the planet will get before people will start being responsible for what they put in their mouths. I don't know. I think it'll have to be in the 130-degree range, and even then they'll be living in air conditioning, so they won't really notice it. But after that, air conditioning won't be able to help you much. I appreciate all the ups and downs, new comments, new subscribers, and until next time.